Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 214, How to Love Yourself. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I am so good. Yesterday, I recorded the videos for the new Alive AF coaching program. And y'all, if you are not on the waitlist for that, you need to pause this podcast and go to angelamascenik.com/join Alive AF. It's join ALIVEAF right now and get your booty on that waitlist because it's going to sell out and I don't want you to miss, and it's going to be ridiculously affordable and super fun and easy to do. And if you like my free stuff, if you like Wine Free Work Week, if you like my master classes and workshops and all that, you should join Alive AF because it's going to be all together in a super organized format. There's going to be a course, a brand new course, Alive AF, that I have created that you will go through and have access to. And then all of the classes, all of the workshops that I do will be recorded and uploaded in an organized way for you to access to at any time. And it's a monthly membership, so you can come and stay for as long as you want. Get coaching, get support, be a part of the community, have some fun, get some easy wins under your belt, gain some confidence that you can change your relationship with alcohol no matter where you are with it right now. And it's just a total no-brainer. So you should do it. You should invest into yourself. You should commit to doing some of this work and seeing what is possible. Give it a year if you can. But if not, just come in for a few months and try it out, get some wins, and go from there. All right, my friends. Get on the wait list. I'm going to be talking about this. You have about another week before we unlock it, and we're going to be offering people to join, and you don't want to miss out on that. And I'll be shutting down enrollment, and you won't be able to join after that time at this rate. All right. Who wants to talk about self-love? It's kind of I noticed, because I follow a lot of coaches and inspiring people in my Facebook feeds and things, a lot of people are talking about self-love. What is self-love? And we got to love ourselves and take care of ourselves. And I want to talk about what it is and what it isn't and how you can improve on it, because a lot of people think that they take good care of themselves and they don't. And most of this comes down to really how we think about ourselves. Remember, your thoughts create the results that you have in your life. And if you're looking at the relationship that you have with alcohol, understanding how you talk to yourself in a loving way or a not so loving way there is super critical in making any behavioral changes that you want to make with alcohol. And I know that some of you want to hold on to a belief that if you love yourself or accept yourself where you are right now, you will not change. And that is just a lie that you really want to let go of. And I'm going to explain why. So let's just say you have an overdrink. Okay, and you have been working on this and you had a plan and you've done all the work and you set yourself up for success. You had your plan, your strategy, all the thing, and then you have an overdrink. Okay, and in the morning you wake up and you're like really frustrated with yourself, and you're, noticing that you're like, why can't I do this? And I suck, and nothing's working, and I can't figure this out. And you think that if you stop doing that, and you think, I love myself no matter what, and I want to accept where I am right now, that you won't be motivated to make the changes that you so long for. And I want to demonstrate to you why this is important and why you shouldn't be scared of accepting yourself and loving yourself in these types of situations. So the first example I'm going to take you through is your mindset on, if you're loathing on yourself and you're not accepting yourself. So it could sound something like, I hate doing this. I hate that I do this. Why can't I stop? I can't figure this out. Okay, so let's just use the example of I can't figure this out. I hate myself. Okay, and you think that thought, how do you feel? I can't figure this out. So when I think that thought, I feel disappointed or frustrated, angry. Okay, so you could feel something different for you. You should try that thought on, I can't figure this out, and see how it feels for you. And when you feel that way, what do you typically do? So if you feel angry or frustrated, when you have these thoughts about yourselves, what are some actions that you normally take from there? Sometimes people just ignore themselves and they're just like, and they just like forget about it. They don't really forget about it, but they just distract themselves. They might just, stay in bed longer, or just, scroll on their phones, or get up and kind of mull about their day, kind of carrying that energy with them, not really doing anything to help themselves. Okay. They may even drink later that day because they feel frustrated and tired and annoyed that they can't move the needle. And they might say something like, I'll just start again on Monday. Okay. Or they might take action like, I got to figure this out, and they just go on some extreme. They make a decision in that moment or that day that they're gonna, get rid of all the alcohol in their house, and they're gonna cancel all their plans that they have and make all these extreme things. If it's with food, if we have an overeat or something like this and we're frustrated about that, we might go look for the next diet, right? And we're like, I just got to do, this very hard and restrictive diet again because that's the only thing that works for me, right? So we might make big sort of rash decisions from this place. So yourself, like, what do you normally do when this happens, right? Just notice what you do when you feel this way. And so I want to highlight too that all of those actions that I demonstrated there are really not that helpful in you figuring out and making changes and moving forward in the best way possible that you could have. There's a lot of other solutions available to you. Okay. And so that can create a result for you of continuing not to figure it out. Okay. Because if you are some of my clients, or even like myself in the past, you make a big decision from that place to do some sort of restriction. You might do that for a couple days and then have another bingey type episode, right? You're white knuckling and restricting and trying to do all of these things all at once to change. And we know that doesn't work. And so we give up because it's super hard and frustrating, right? And it doesn't feel good. So we go back to our old ways, right? And if you're not looking at it and you kind of ignore it and you just continue going on, you're not understanding why you had the overdrink in the first place. And so you repeat these patterns. Are you following along? So this is why being hard on yourself and like not loving yourself doesn't get you the outcome that you want. The outcome that you actually want is to make permanent changes. You want to change your behavior. Yes? But I promise you, when you loathe on yourself and you talk to yourself that way, it's not the solution, because in your mind, what you think about yourself is going to create the outcome that you have in your life. Okay? So if you have an overdrink and you wake up in the morning and you notice yourself talking to yourself that way, that's fine. Like that's not the problem. The problem exists is when you buy into those thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself, and it creates negative outcomes for you. If you notice yourself talking meanly to yourself, and it can just be like, why is this so hard? It may not even sound like a bad thought, but your brain probably will automatically go there. If it does, you want to recognize that you're doing that. Be like, okay, so if I keep thinking this way, how am I going to feel, right? And you might notice that you will feel annoyed and frustrated and bad and shameful and negative emotions galore, right? And I just want to offer to you in this moment, you have a choice to keep going down that path or to step in and be like, you know what? I want to accept what happened and I want to learn from it and I want to love myself through this process. And it's going to take some willingness to do a little bit of work right now. And I'm going to go figure this out. And then you can choose to love yourself and respect yourself enough that you're going to go figure out why you had that overdrink. Okay? And you're going to go ask yourself some questions and reflect on what happened and what you were thinking in the moment and what feelings you weren't willing to deal with and all of that, so you can get some clarity on what happened, so that you can have more awareness the next time you're in a similar situation, and you'll be able to stop yourself more. So it sounds like this. Okay, I recognize that I didn't do what I wanted to last night. Okay, nothing has gone wrong. Can I hold space enough to accept that for myself and go and respect myself enough to figure out what happened? Okay, that is accepting yourself. That is loving yourself no matter what you do. Okay, if you don't do that, you miss an opportunity to learn about yourself, which is ultimate self-love, when you can take the time to understand yourself more and understand your patterns that you have and your behaviors. You guys, your behaviors are going to repeat themselves all the time. That's how human behavior is. We program ourselves to do the things on repeat because it's easier. It takes less energy and it reserves our energy, and we just like having things on auto repeat, right? Especially our relationship with alcohol. The way you guys drink is very similar all the time, right? There, you have very specific patterns and emotions that you are in reaction from when you decide to drink and then overdrink. Okay, so taking the time to see that and unravel that is very, very loving and respectful for you in your journey to change your relationship with alcohol. Another thing I want to talk about is what you think about your body. And so many women that come in to work with me have been dealing with weight and drinking and body image stuff their whole lives. And it's all very much tied together. How you think about your body is probably very similar to how you think about your relationship with alcohol and your capabilities to change your relationship with alcohol. And if you can see, if I've demonstrated to you how you think about, if you have an overdrink and relate that to what you think about your body, if you think about your body in a way that, like, I think it's disgusting, or I need to lose weight, or I'm too big and I'm gross. Like, if you think that way about yourself, how do you feel? And then notice what you do. Do the same exercise with that around your body. And choose instead, if you find your mind thinking that way about yourself, if you see a picture of yourself, or you look in the mirror, or you get on the scale, if your mind goes there, I want you to recognize that it's doing that and decide to think something else that feels better for you. How about I love myself in this moment instead? And I want you to be open to the idea that you could drop the self-hate around your body and be open to thinking more nice things about yourself. It doesn't have to be like, I love my body, I'm perfect, I don't need to change. If you want to change, that's fine. But you judging yourself and hating yourself and thinking yourself is gross is not going to be a good way to do it, because again, it will lead to behaviors that will come from your negative emotions that usually don't set yourself up for success. Any actions that we take from our negative emotions that are unintentional are usually extreme or avoidant in nature, and they aren't the best actions to take as if you were taking them from love. Okay, so if you decided to change your mindset in that moment and be like, you know what, I'm not going to engage with the self-loathing today. I'm going to love myself. It's not good for me to talk to myself that way. How can I show myself some respect right now? I promise you, your actions from there will be so much more fruitful in your overall goals to get where you want to go. If you do want to make body changes, alcohol changes, diet changes, any sort of behavioral change that you're hoping for. Okay? This is why self-love is not super fluffy. So that's like the other part of this podcast is, taking good care of yourself is mostly around what the dialogue is that you have with yourself, the relationship that you have with yourself, what you say to yourself is so impactful on what you do and how you treat yourself and the actions you take that might be considered self-love or not. Okay, so definitely, drinking when you're having a rough emotion, drinking and not following through on your plan, saying fuck it, it doesn't matter. All of that stuff is not loving, right? And you can interrupt that and decide to be with your uncomfortable emotions. That is loving, because you're not rejecting how you're feeling. You are accepting how you feel in all of it, in your whole human experience. And when you can learn to accept yourself no matter what, that is ultimate self-love. It's very radical. It feels hard sometimes. You are unconditionally loving yourself no matter what experience you are having in that moment. And when you can learn to do that and grow into that, you will become an unstoppable force that no matter what happens in your life, you respect yourself enough to hold some space for yourself no matter what it is that you're going through. And you don't need to get out of it. You don't need to numb it. You don't need to avoid it. You can be strong and be with it and yourself. Okay. Self-love can be planning your food and eating healthy food, moving your body, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, respecting yourself, respecting your time, saying no to things. Those things are hard, right? Like saying no to people is hard. Not saying yes to all the things and wearing yourself out by the end of the day and then feeling resentful. All of that stuff is self-love. And sometimes it doesn't look super fluffy. Sometimes it feels really hard for you to learn how to do that and be with those uncomfortable emotions that come when you tell people no, and you start to have boundaries with yourself. But ultimately, putting yourself and your self-love and the respect that you have for yourself at the top of the list is the way to change your relationship with alcohol. And I want to help you learn how to do that in real life time. Okay, like this is the way that we do that and make the changes that we want to seek. It's not always about getting massages and going to get our nails done and, taking baths and things. Although all of that is amazing, it needs to start with how you're thinking about yourself and recognizing when you're not being nice to yourself and working through that and respecting yourself enough and doing this sort of harder work to have a regular practice of loving yourself. All right, friends, that's what I have to say on the self-love. How are you going to love yourself today? Let's start with what you're thinking about yourself. Start practicing that. Start being aware and sort of waking up to how you're talking to yourself. The relationship you have with yourself is the most important relationship you will have in your entire life, because you spend the most time with yourself in your own mind than you do with anybody else. And if you want to improve your external relationships, if you want to drink less, if you want to do any of that other stuff, learning how to talk to yourself in a self-loving way and compassionate way and accepting way is the ticket to it all. I promise you. All right, my friends, I love you so, so much. And just know that I believe in you and I know that you can do this. If I can change how I thought about myself and have a regular practice of changing those thoughts in time when I notice myself having negative thoughts about myself, you can too. All right, my friends, I love you. Make sure you're on the list to be the first to hear when Alive AF is ready to purchase. And I cannot wait to talk to you soon. Bye.